So I started a podcast in the sauna, and it was nuts trying to get this thing off the ground. So I'm going to talk about some of the struggles and how crazy it was with a few of these first episodes. So our first episode was Jesse Edler. He's one of my best friends. He was always a person I wanted to be first because, one, our entire relationship's been in the sauna, and he's like the sauna guy. He loves saunas as much as I do. And the plan was always to have him on first. So my producer Jade and I were meeting for a couple months, and we always had reasons why it should be delayed. We didn't really set a first date, and all of a sudden Jesse calls me and he's like, I'm gonna be in Nashville in 2 weeks. Moral of the story, sometimes you need pushed off the cliff to get going. You know, sometimes like you think you're creating action, but you need a little push. It's kind of like when someone has a job they hate and they get fired, but it actually turns out to be a really good thing. So that's what happened. The issue was we had to get a new sauna to film this, a different type of sauna with windows. That sauna got here the day before Jesse got here. So we built this sauna the night before, didn't even really test this thing. You know, we got in it, it worked, we knew that. We wake up and it's the morning of the sauna. At this point, we have not done a test filming. We have not done any audio checks, haven't really thought through the audio in general, but we're gonna try to figure it out. So Jesse's coming, we're running around like crazy, trying to get everything sorted out. We're literally drilling holes and putting plexiglass in the sauna to try to film through. We changed how we did it now, but at the time we wanted to film from the side. He's sitting here waiting. Luckily, Jesse's a super chill, cool guy. He had a little bit of time, but he's sitting here waiting and we're drilling holes in the side of the sauna.
How nervous are you 1 to 10?
I mean, I'm extremely nervous. I'm a 9.
9. How nervous are you for the speech?
Speech? I'm a 3.
Yeah.
We had the camera set up. One of the cameras would put like a t-shirt to like block the glare out. We didn't realize how hard it was to block the glare of the sauna. And then with the audio, I literally had Stanley cups and I took a DJI wireless mic, dropped it in the Stanley cup, closed it, and somehow all that worked. Like the entire podcast looked awesome. It could be still the best podcast, like just aesthetically from a filming perspective we've ever had. And it turned out great, thank God, because like I would have been so sad. Jesse's a busy guy and he's in Nashville, and like I'd feel so bad if he wasted the time. So that worked, right? Fast forward, Gracie Norton was in town. Gracie is one of the nicest people I've ever met. We were filming her podcast. I was on her podcast. And so, this is a great opportunity to have her on. And we were not so lucky. I think the next 5 podcasts, something went wrong, whether it be audio, a camera overheating, glare. Like there's so many issues because one, if you're not familiar with like a Sony nice camera, they are very heat sensitive. Most will overheat just from like filming in general. And so when you add a component of heat in and then trying to like film through glass, something always goes wrong. And then with the audio, you can't really use wireless mics because the transmitter gets too hot, and they're talking about long cords. And so it was just kind of a nightmare. But the worst one, and turned out to be okay, was we had Michael Chandler on, who I've followed from afar for a while because, you know, he was a walk-on in wrestling. I was a wrestler, walk-on in football, and he had this walk-on hat that he released with Melon a while ago, and I bought it like 7 years ago, and he was gonna come on. I was super excited about it because, you know, he was also at the time gonna fight McGregor. It was a moment. We got done with his, and I plugged in our audio mics, and his failed. Like his mic didn't work. And it was only my mic, and you could barely hear anything he was saying. And we had a backup mic where like last minute, unplanned, I just took one of the DJ mics and turned it on and put it next to me. It's like maybe a Hail Mary if something went wrong, and it did not sound good. And like literally, I remember like I wanted to cry because I was sitting there like, we're gonna have to scrap this episode, and it's just a bummer. It was also a super fun episode. Somehow we found this guy online who was like an audio engineer, sent it to him. He was able to use the backup mic and manually edit the levels to where it was really, really good. And I don't know how we pulled that off, but it has been an absolute nightmare from a logistics perspective. And like Jade and Austin, who help with the podcast, Jade produces it. It's been crazy. We've had to adjust on the fly, different lights. We've changed everything a million times, but now it's in a place that's pretty good. If I had to pick 5 guests I want to see next, like if I could just go and pick them, George Kittle would be great. He's in Nashville. That'd be super easy and be fun to do. I would love to have on Bryce Harper, who's also in Nashville. local in the off season. I would love Joe Rogan just because I feel like he's so into it, and you know, he's like the podcast OG, but I think he'd have a good time because he's up for a challenge. I think this would push him. I think it's harder than people realize. I would say number 4 would be Theo Vaughn. Also, I'm just thinking Nashville people, I guess, but Theo is like, makes me laugh more than anyone. And I can only imagine when it starts to get hot, the things that would come out of his mouth. I probably would have a hard time even like continuing and not laughing. And then the last person I'll say would be Reese Witherspoon. Sarah Blakely called her out, and she lives in Nashville. And that's what's fun about it, is it's fun when you get people out of their element. Like Joe Rogan, for example, not crazy out of his element, like you'd expect that. Like someone like Reese would be funny, like when we had like Hannah Brown on and Caitlin Bristow. It's fun to get people in a different environment, and you really get to know them well. So I think that'd be super cool. So comment below who you want to see next, and we'll do our best to get them on the show. I think like anything, and this can go for sports, a career, everything is always harder than it appears. Like when you look at a professional NASCAR driver, for example, like the amount of detail and time that goes into that is probably 10x what you actually think. And I'm guilty of doing this all the time. And so this is one of those things that we didn't fully know we get it. We knew it was gonna be a problem because people try to do it, but we didn't know some of the challenges would be there. But it's been worth it. It's been awesome. Everyone's been so supportive and fun. So if you do like it and you do want to support us, any comments, subscribe, shares are super valuable to us, and they help us keep moving in the same direction and cover our costs and allow us to keep doing fun things. And we'll keep doing bigger and better, but we need to spread the word. So we appreciate everybody out there, and hopefully you keep watching.